rude in the background. And a very good evening, everybody, and welcome to a Spiritualism Lyceum evening. This evening, I have a wonderful gentleman who is working here at Paul. Unfortunately, he couldn't make it, so Darren stepped in at the last minute.
I was going to say, thanks.
Mr. Darren Turner. Darren, could you just introduce yourself, please? A little intro about who you are, what you do, and the name of your academy, please.
Yes, well, obviously, I'm not the guy you expected, as you've just said. Darren Turner, obviously, and I've worked for quite a while with Spirit now. Quite a while now, and I actually love what I do. I love the spirit side of things and working with the spirit world and the energy that it brings. But I started the academy up, which is the Darren Turner Spiritual Mentorship Academy, when we were in lockdown, because I found the need for that when we were in lockdown for people and stuff like that. So I just started it, which is an accredited academy for people that maybe are wanting to develop in, whether it's psychically, whether it's with spirit, mindfulness, or whichever direction they feel that they want to go in. Because for me personally, it's about bringing a standard into what we do. It's about bringing a standard to what we do within our work for spirit, because I'm very passionate about spirit. And to me, it's about trying to raise that bar, maybe, or raising the standard so that we have a better understanding of how the process works.
Wonderful.
How the process
wonderful
goes. And we're obviously doing that course, a psychic course here, aren't we, at the moment?
We are.
Which is over the next few months, and everyone's doing fabulously well on that as well, learning the basics and going through there, and they're all doing fantastically well. And it's that little light bulb moment that I like when you explain what psychic is, maybe what spirit is, that sort of thing, and going forward from that. And when you get that, you see that little light go off in someone's mind. It's like, for me, I feel really proud that they've done that, not from my point, but from theirs, that they've pushed themselves to achieve that.
Yeah. Very true. My previous incarnations in this life, I was a old school. It was D32 assessor.
Oh, okay, right. Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah.
And so training obviously was my life.
Yeah.
And I can relate totally to that light bulb moment. Because we can put one thing in so many ways, and you keep dancing around it, thinking, why are you not getting it? Why? What are we missing here? And then you just, the right link of words, and they go, anyway, thank you.
I think it's using your own experiences as well. How you got to it, or what you did, or this or that. And I think, people can resonate with that sometimes.
Yeah.
If you keep it simple, my philosophy is that if you keep it simple, hopefully people will understand it from that. Not because people are simple, it's just that, sometimes we have to look at it in a real basic level to go on from there, to snowball, to sort of springboard from there onto a different way.
Yeah, definitely.
And knowledge to me is something that I think we should share 100%. Whatever your knowledge may be, it's about sharing it so that it spreads out to everyone.
Yeah, good philosophy.
That is my philosophy, if you like, yeah.
Brilliant. I did say a short intro, but never mind.
All right, okay, I'll shut up now. I've done maybe two.
I do love having mediums come to say now.
We get abused, we get shouted at, but that's fine. That's lovely. Yeah,
we had a lovely dinner.
We did. What was it? Oh, it was a lovely dinner. Yeah, sorry, it was lovely.
What was it? You won't be coming back on anymore, folks. Anyway, interesting. You brought up the current course running here at Paul Church.
Yeah.
I am absolutely loving watching from the sidelines. Your teaching methods, which are extremely good.
Oh, bless you. Thank you. Appreciate that.
He's not paid me money, folks. I do generally do that. But also, it's one of these things, I'd say, a lot of the time, we need to go back to sort of like spiritualism 1.0.
Yeah.
Because we all progress along our paths. I'm looking at the names out there today, and I know there are several mediums watching us tonight, so a very warm welcome to you all, everybody watching, wherever you are in the world. It really helps to go back to that 1.0 with people, because we are constantly getting new people investigating spiritualism. They're coming in with maybe that driving need through loss, bereavement, or in today's world, what the hell is this? What is going on? What's it all about? So we must always be very mindful that every time that we work with the public, there will be people who, for whatever reason, haven't got an understanding of things. And I know it's a very emotive subject with many a medium about the difference between psychic and an evidential mediumistic reading. So what would your explanation, please, of psychic? Where does this psychic? Give you a psychic image.
If I was doing a psychic reading, for me, psychic reading is I'm talking about the person I'm reading for. So if I'm doing you a psychic reading, it's about you, your life. It's about who you are as a person, what you're planning maybe on doing or have done, or about your past, your life. It's all about you, and it's what I call the earthbound energy. Because we live on this wonderful, wonderful planet with everything that's upon it. And to me, it's quite a dense energy. And we're working through it and we're plowing through it. But it's about working with the person. And it's about trying to talk to them about how their life may be in this direction, or whatever reason it may be in that direction. And trying to inspire them, trying to bring through something, on that one-to-one level when we're working with the psychic, to try to help them in their life. The spirit side for me is the evidential side for me when we're working with the spirit is when we're talking with those people that passed, our loved ones or our friends, our family, and we're bringing through that specific evidence or that detailed evidence where they cannot dispute that you've connected to someone. If you've got, let's say, dad coming through and let's say, dad's leg was amputated or something like that, and you bring that through, but you can't really dispute that evidence sort of thing. So when the psychic energy or the psychic reading is about the person that you're talking to, the actual evidential mediumship reading is working with those people that have passed over and bringing that sort of evidence through and facilitating what the spirit person is trying to say to give that evidence, but also bring comfort and maybe closure to a point. Because as you just touched on, that a lot of people come into through something that's happened in their life into an awareness or wanted to know a bit more. And for me personally, it was an experience of grief. For me, it was when my grandmother died. Although I wasn't that close to her, it was really when I sort of first felt grief. Grief is different for everyone and it's a personal experience. But for me, it was like, well, why would I lose my grandma and what's the point in it and everything like that. So for me, that's where my awareness come, my searching. And again, I think, when you're working as doing an evidential reading, it's trying to reconnect those people that maybe you lost on that level and trying to bring that comfort, but just to let people know that they're not here physically, but they still very much support you from the spirit side of life. They go along your pathway with you and they help you, and they don't walk it totally with you, but they will try to help you and steer you in whichever way it is that maybe you need to go. But just for you to know that, okay, they're not here, but I know they still love me. Because all of us want to know that, and we're talking about people, but me and you were talking about pets earlier, but pets as well. People don't always want to hear from mums, dads, grannies, and grandpas. They just want the evidence that their pet is in the spirit world, whether that be dog, cat, fish, budgie, whatever. And it's providing that detailed information that person or that animal has made it to that beautiful place we call the spirit world.
Brilliant.
Brilliant. That's my take. Obviously, that's something good on it. Good. And when we've been doing the course this week, it is all about the psychic. It's not the spiritual side, although we've sort of touched on it a little bit.
Some drifted off.
That's right. Come back here. That's it. Bring you back here. And it's working with that and explaining about the psychic side and getting them to work together to get in touch with each other, but also getting in touch with themselves. Because I believe that whenever we work psychically or mediumistically, we're also learning ourselves. We're finding out about ourselves within the process, because me personally, and I'm only talking about me as a medium, I will sometimes find I come off that platform and somewhere around about a message might resonate with me personally, and it's helping me in some way. So I find that spirit are very, very clever. If I'm not listening to every day, I'm not listening to myself, shall we say, I may give a message to someone and it resonates, and I think, I think part of that could have been for me, maybe, I don't know, or something like that. You know, or the philosophy I do might resonate with me again to help me in my own life. So that's my take anyway.
Yeah, good. I can fully go along with that, especially on the philosophy. It's one of my passions.
Yeah.
Is philosophy, and I absolutely love it. That
Yeah.
when I'm in flow with those that work with me, something will be said, and my mind will go, "Oh, that's interesting."
Yeah.
I love that. I think, "Oh, thank you."
And it's almost like you're getting a message sort of for yourself, but you're obviously delivering it to everyone, to help everyone. But it's like you're getting a message for yourself, and it just helps you, I think, to go a little bit further on your pathway. Yeah. Because let's face it, you know, we're mediums. We're mediums. We still have every struggle that other people do. So sometimes just getting that little bit of inspiration from spirit world helps us, I think, to maybe see life differently for ourselves when we're not maybe
very much
that sort of thing.
Because we touched on this earlier.
We did. Yeah.
That you can sometimes be a misconception with people who go to see, as it says in the Bible, consult with me. I'd love to have a consult. Anyway, I'm not going to have one of them, I'm too old. But those who go to see mediums, and we are sort of like elevated in a way to being different, to being slightly above everybody, and you just think, really, actually, it's quite the opposite. You know, you don't have to sit there thinking, "Oh God, I've got to get dressed, go out, do this, do that." I've just cried my eyes out because Spirit just dropped love on me for no unknown reason. But it is interesting. But going back to the psychism, what would be? You know, I'm a big fan of the psychic ability. I always say, if you're going to be a psychic, be
the best.
Nearly the best. Thank you. I was going to say bloody good, but the best.
I'm being politically correct.
Oh, okay. Thank you. If you're going to be a psychic, be the best psychic. If you're going to be an evidential medium, be the best evidential medium. If you're going to be a healing medium, be the best. You know, go for it. Go for it. I have seen some amazing demonstrations, and honestly, hand on heart. I have seen 2 psychics get somebody who I knew, so I knew it was on the level, their PIN number of their card.
Fantastic.
And this lady was going, "I don't believe this." And I knew her, and so I had the opportunity after to say, "Please tell me you know, there was a fix." But no, it wasn't. I don't know them. So, amazing. You know, but also in the healing field, the practical application, psychism within the healing field, some of the topics we've been covering about looking at the aura. And we had a beautiful example last week with one of the ladies being a little bit emotional.
That's true.
We've got 3 healers with us who worked on her during the lunch break, giving her healing. But when we were doing the afternoon, looking at the aura, all 3 healers went, "Oh my God, I can see my healing in the aura." That's right.
Yeah, because when we were working with that person, you know, when we were looking at her aura, it was very, very much quite dense, quite heavy, and obviously, you know, everyone has a different life experience, and obviously the aura can be affected by that life experience. You know, and if we're happier, maybe it's a bigger aura. If we're not so happy, maybe it's a little bit smaller, sort of thing. And she did get very, very emotional because she found what we were doing quite overwhelming from the point of, you know, looking maybe at herself a little bit more and sort of things like that. And we don't always like doing that, do we? Looking at ourselves or thinking about ourselves, because we go through life thinking, well, you know, maybe I'm not important or something like that. And then when you get someone start to do a reading for you, or an aura reading, and they start to get really close and they bring up the emotions and stuff, it can be very, very much an overwhelming experience. And you're quite right. You know, she took time out, and then when the healers, which were fantastic healers, I have to say, did their stuff, shall we put it that way, afterwards, she was obviously happy and everything, and you could just see how that aura expanded, sort of thing. And to see that was quite amazing. And, you know, the other thing is for people to actually say, "I can't see anything," and then they do start seeing it. That, again, is another hurdle. And I think the lady that we were talking about, she couldn't see the auras, but then she had the healing and she could. So it's almost like it's a bringing together of everything. It's a healing process. But I think it's sometimes a process of us hearing from other people about us
Yeah.
Because we only look at us in one direction, warts and all, if you want to use that sort of phrase. But when someone else does that sort of reading for you, and they bring through something about you, or they see you in a different light, it can be emotional, because maybe you've hidden feelings about yourself, and it's now time to release them to enable you to go forward and make your aura shine brighter.
Yeah, very true. And on our, we are spirit. We are physical here at this time, but we are spirit. We are on this endless journey of progression.
Yeah.
And certainly when we start to go into the spiritualism field, sometimes our focus becomes on the journey that we're on, but not from the point of view of us. We're on that journey to progress, to get there, but we don't take into account, I know myself personally, in the years that I've been involved with spiritualism, I am not the person who started this journey.
Oh, no, I mean, I agree with that. I think we change and we grow. And I think we look at ourselves differently, because we have to. We have to try and be all-rounded with ourselves, and there's bits about us we don't like. There's always going to be it. But, it's about enjoying the process and the journey that we are on, as you say, and just trying to work through everything. And I think if we can understand ourselves a bit better, I think it makes us that little bit more of a better person, to be able to be a little bit more of an empath towards people, a little bit more compassionate, and maybe see things from other people's point of view. And you sort of touched on about, we're going to consult with a medium and that. And I have this big thing that sometimes people think a medium's on one pedestal, and people are not mediums on another. And to me, that's totally wrong. We're all the same. We will have those life experiences, good and bad. And anyone I feel who has had an experience that can pass that knowledge on to help someone else, in a sense, is being a medium, not necessarily doing what we do, but they're just passing that knowledge on to be able to help someone to go forward, to heal, to maybe learn to love themselves, like themselves more, whatever it might be. But maybe take them in a direction that is positive for them, that they can do that.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm a big one about looking at ourselves, working for ourselves as well. So.
Indeed, and I'm so sorry, I get so distracted because something is scratching at the door, which is incredibly worrying, because there's nothing out
here
there to scratch at the door.
And I'm going to run out the door because it's going to frighten the life out of me.
But yeah, that psychic side, it's an invaluable tool as part of our spiritual journey.
Yeah.
Because it does enable us to deal with us. Again, we're chasing the nadir of whatever route that we're on. But actually, sometimes we need to look at ourselves, and through a good psychic, we can actually have some of those things brought up and think, actually, I've been ignoring, I've been pushing that to one side, I've ignored that, or I don't want to deal with that. But actually, until you deal with that, progression may be a bit limited. I
think we've probably all been and seen a medium or a psychic at some stage, and they've said something that really touches home, sort of thing. But it's the people who maybe receive that message have then got to go away and decide what to do with it. And some people don't want to face whatever that might be, although they know it's right. So every time they may go and see a psychic, they get the same sort of message again and again and again. And I think there comes a point where we have to look at ourselves, and we have to look at life and maybe make that adjustment, good or bad, or whatever it might be, and just accept that maybe things have changed, and just need to move on maybe in one way or another.
Definitely. We go over to a few comments here.
Okay.
The lovely Stephen Mager. Good evening, Stephen. Good evening, everybody out there watching. It's wonderful to see people in circle get that smile that keeps up on their face when they recognise the difference and overcome it through good old-fashioned circle work. Then work on their strengths and deepen significantly. And to sit back and see it is a blessing. It
is. It's just that little spark, that whether it be a light, whatever you want to call it, their eyes just light up, if you like, and they start to realise it, and it's fabulous to see it, and then it sort of opens up the doorway, and then it goes on and on and on for them, and just to see them achieving that, and that awareness opening up, that brightness opening up. For me, when I see it, I just feel so pleased for the people that when that happens, and and that. So yeah, for me, I think it's amazing. I find it amazing.
Brilliant. And also in circle work there, as Stephen said, I found that when I actually started to take circles myself, I was amazed at the amount of progression that I made on
definitely,
a personal level.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that I sat there and leech off everybody's energy, but because of that interaction and reaching for the answers, it actually imbued me with progression as well, which was absolutely beautiful. Lovely Daniela, you can sit easy tonight, my darling. I'm not going to drag you into tonight's program, so thank you, Daniela, for the other week. Aura is also an expansion of consciousness, so it makes it easier to see the energy. Yeah, go along with that. I don't know who this woman is. Arisha Pauline.
Oh, she's a bit dodgy, I think.
Is she?
Yeah, she's a dodgy woman, I think, in the Devon area. Yeah.
The police have got the. She was on.
That's it. She was on Crime Watch.
That's the one.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
So.
She's going to kill us next time.
Oh God, yeah, but she's not here right now, so there we go. Have fun. Arisha Pauline Weber, who was our guest a few weeks ago. Do you think mediums are often given a difficult journey so that they can help others? I know where I'm going, but where are you going?
I would say no. I don't think so. I think we're on our journey that we have to go on, and we just learn that lesson. And I don't think that maybe we have it worse than anyone else.
Yeah.
I just think that maybe we have not better, but a different understanding of what that journey might be, because we're all different people.
Yeah.
We're all unique individuals. We all have different wants, needs, and thoughts and feelings. So to me, I don't think it's any worse than anyone else's. It might just be a different lesson.
Yeah.
I don't know what your thought is of that.
Actually, very, very similar.
Yeah.
We were discussing today in the workshop.
That's right, yeah.
And I said about, lessons. Yeah. Everything that happens to us, and this came through on the meditation this morning, which was beautiful because it wasn't me, it was great. I love that. But everything is a lesson.
Yeah.
We can append that energy. It was terrible. It was beautiful. We're the ones appending that energy to it. But the core level of it is, if we approach it in just an energetic level, it is another lesson.
It's that thought process, isn't it? If you think of it as negative, then it's sort of, you're going to hold on to that negative vibe of it, if you like.
Yeah.
If you think, okay, I've learned that lesson, not happy about it, but I try to send some positivity to it or an understanding of it, it seems to make it a little bit different from maybe the way that we would hang on to it sometimes.
Also, that other, something taught to me, and I find it very useful, when we get those situations that come up and kick you, if you're lucky, in the teeth. If you're not lucky, somewhere horrible.
The butt, yeah.
Yeah, up the butt.
Yeah.
Lovely. Anyway, moving on. Thanks for keeping me in check. Is to actually face that energy and go, what are you bringing to me? What are you trying to teach? We all have it, don't we? We have people in our lives, and you just think, please, universe, get shot of them. Yeah, because we're constantly on that defensive mode with them. And actually, probably a way to consider trying is going, okay, why is this person in my life?
Yeah, look at that point of view, definitely, I agree with that.
Why are they bringing that into my life at this time? And, if we can get away from the human emotions and just look at it on an energetic level and just go, you know what, this is a mirroring, because what I'm seeing in them is actually something within me. And
the lessons I find make you stronger. They make you a stronger person. They make you a stronger thought process. And I just think that, it just enables us to maybe look at things in a totally different way and open your eyes a little bit more.
Yeah, definitely. So some lovely comments coming in here. Lovely Anne-Marie Bond. How are you, sweetie? Anne-Marie, I'm not ignoring you, but every time you are online with your wonderful assembly, I'm doing something else, which is really irritating, but never mind. Anne-Marie Bond runs the Spiritual Speakers Assembly, which is a great idea, very much of the energy of our Lyceum evenings as well, where we talk. So how wonderful. Anne-Marie is saying, when students look up to mediums and want to be like them, they need to remember each medium has their own path, trials and tribulations, And sometimes those challenges help to shape their inner strengths. So to be like a medium, are we looking to have their challenges to be at their standard? That's what I remind my students, just be you. How beautiful. Anne-Marie is a sublime teacher as well.
100% agree with that. 100% agree with that.
Yeah.
Totally, definitely, 100%. You know, we're all different. We're all different mediums. We work a different way. So we're all going to have that different sort of experience or life lessons and that. And you know, you just want to be you, don't you? You don't want to be, you know, we can all look up to mediums and that's fine. We all do that. But we have to be our unique self because Spirit know the best way of working with us.
Yeah, definitely. And I always say to people, when you hear that, I want to be as good as so-and-so. Or if I'm half as good as Darren Turner, I'll be happy. No, because you have just immediately put these blocks on your personal mediumship.
Yeah, I always tell my students, you want to be better than Darren Turner or better than whoever maybe you look up to or whatever. Well, that's true, yeah, pretty rubbish or whatever it is, sort of thing. I'm not paying you that money now for that. But no, I always say to my guys, you know, you want to be the best that you can be, and you want to be you and true to yourself.
Yeah,
you don't want to emulate anyone else.
Yeah,
just be you because. You know, that's who you are. You're unique, you know, person and individual.
This is it, the uniqueness of us.
I mean, I wouldn't want to be like you, for instance, obviously, and you wouldn't want to be like me.
Oh, right, I see where you're going now.
Yeah, that's okay.
Hurt to pull here. Why? But no, exactly right. And, you know, when students and sitters say, you know, if I'm half as good as I want to be as good as that other person. No. You're your own light. Go out there and dazzle the world
100%.
with it. Absolutely. Where are we? Thank you. Right. Can we understand what Spirit giving us? Oh, Veronica Jenkins. So you're working with the lovely Veronica.
Not that I'm aware of.
No, you're not.
I don't know if I know.
No, you're not, because you know what, people? I am stopping calling people by their wrong names because I'm just having a week of it here. Veronica Jenkins, who I have spoken to. Hello, Veronica, and who will be with us here in Paul soon. It also helps us when communicating with Spirit, as we can understand what Spirit are giving to us.
We're not back from the psychic lessons to the and transferring the psychic to the Spirit, I presume.
I'm glad you're keeping on board.
Well, that's what I'm presuming. I might be wrong.
We'll go with that.
Because I'm presuming what we mean is when we're working maybe on a psychic level, colour, symbol, whichever way it is that we're working, you then transfer that understanding of what the meaning or the word association is with that to our spiritual side when we're working, because obviously when we start to develop, and I'm talking from the psychic point of there, obviously we have our spiritual toolbox that we put everything in, and obviously that transfers over to the mediumship if we're talking specifically about mediumship, so that we already have that head start. The Spirit know, well, red means this to you, or that means that, or whatever. Maybe that, I think that's probably what I was being asked.
No, it wasn't actually, because you just put it up.
Oh, okay, all right, well, I'll have to shut up then and sort of.
Thank you, Veronica.
Yeah, thank you.
Actually, you put that really well, actually, because you said today about you were teaching one part, it was symbology.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And you asked me, do I work with it in my mediumship?
Yeah.
And yes, because I see an image and I go, oh, okay, there's a whole story.
Yeah, that's right.
From that one image.
Yeah.
Veronica was saying there also, along with your wonderful explanation, thank you, Darren.
Right. Yeah.
The lessons in life, it does.
Yeah,
it does. I was saying earlier on about depression.
Oh, yeah, we mentioned about that.
I can relate to that. That somebody will walk in and it's just there.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah. I mean, it goes back to that thing, doesn't it, where an experience we've had, chances our Spirit will use that at some stage.
Yeah.
To help us, point us in the direction.
Indeed. And Veronica's been very kind and saying yes and symbolic.
Thanks, Veronica. Don't know you, obviously, Lawrence got your name wrong or whatever, but thank you very much, my lovely.
And Arisha Pauline Webber.
Oh, not again,
Yeah, she might turn up tomorrow. Is murder punishable offence in Poole? Well, yes, actually it is, because we're civilised up here. I know in Newton Abbot you have your own laws and whatever, but never mind, we won't go there. Really interesting, isn't it, this time that we're coming into now.
Mm.
We're talking earlier on, and we were saying about we don't know what direction things are going in.
It's all unsettled, isn't it? I still
Yeah.
think, you know, the energy's changing. I think spiritualism's changing, going in a different direction. I just feel there's that little bit of uncertainty at the moment. I think it's going to be a positive type thing, but it just feels very much like there's going to be a change of some description, and we just got to go with that flow, I think, at the moment. You know, and it's about just accepting whatever that change may be, I think.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, you know, if you look at it as an energy, we have a change in energy. The energy changes. It's only our perception that deems it to be bad or good.
Yeah.
You know, this time, the last 2 years, you can talk about this time in two different energies. It's been an awful time. We've been locked in our houses. We've lost so many people.
Yeah.
Conversely, look at this time, what we've achieved, how we've pushed things forward. Because the basic law of the universe is all about balance. So whatever we perceive to be negative, we go back to the war years, and they talk about the wartime spirit. You know, you're living. There you are. Are you just? But the wartime spirit, where, you know, millions of young men, children, husbands, brothers, fathers left to never come back, and imagine the horror of that. But yet we had that wartime spirit because we were put into that situation where we have two choices. We can hold our head in our hands, or we can actually get on with it. And I believe that is part of our spiritual family then was stepping in greatly to lift those spirits.
Possibly,
The advances in spiritualism during the war were vast. Air Chief Marshal Dowding, his books written during the war years are phenomenal.
I have to read them.
Really do. Many Mansions. Absolute essential reading for anybody. Really wonderful book. But again, you know, it is these changes coming in, they're going to be what we make of them.
The thing is, we were obviously having this discussion again earlier about change isn't comfortable, is it?
Oh, that's it. Yeah, no, don't want change.
And but we go with the flow, and we have to have this change. So I just feel that, you know, we have to change to evolve. Change has to happen, because if we just stay as we are, it's just stagnant, and you're not going to progress or learn anything. So, you know, we have to evolve, and with that evolvement comes changes within the world. Everything, I think, because it's all connected, isn't it? As you say, it's that balance, all connected there. So I think we have to change, and I think the spirit world adapts really, really well to change as well, because, you know, they're trying to take us along the roads or the route that we need to go, or with them certainly. So they look at how we need to adapt, and I think we sort of just have to work with that balance to try to go with that flow and accept it, although we may not like it, but just to change it. And I'm excited to see which direction we do go and where it does end up, because I think, you know, to me it's all about evolvement. We're continuously evolving and getting the knowledge from the spirit, and I think it's just about keep going with that and doing that and just accepting it and seeing where we go.
Yeah, very true, very true. And back to our wonderful viewers, Veronica Jenkins saying, never understood silence his spirit gave me until I suffered depression. Now I know when I get silence, it's because spirit suffered depression. Absolutely beautiful, Veronica. I got confused when I first saw it a couple of times, where a loved one would sit one chair away from somebody.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And I was like, I don't get that. Why don't you sat next to them? What's going on here? And it turns out that's the symbolism that person the message is being given to is still very much grieving.
Ah, right. So that's how
they
you worked it out.
They can't draw close because spirit being pure energy, find it difficult to draw close when that grieving is so strong.
Yeah.
And now when I see that, that's what, you know, I just go, I'm from that one simple thing. The rest of the message unfolds. So totally get that, Veronica. Totally get that. Lovely Daniela, what are you saying, my darling? It is also true, as we attract similar energies to which we vibrate, the students may be guided to us, and higher learning goes both ways.
Yeah. That's the answer to that.
Yeah.
Basically,
Keep coming like that, folks.
I agree with that, and I think we all learn, don't we? And when I learn, when I teach, and also you learn. But yeah, I think we always learn from everyone else. And I do think to a degree, we attract similar energies because that's just how we vibrate. That's how we resonate, isn't it? Sort of thing. And we just we go along that direction in that way, and it just sort of, I think, makes it better. It gels more.
Yeah, very true. I had a beautiful message today from a lady in Holland, and she was saying about how within her mediumship there was a certain facet that needed developing, but she was frightened of it, and she didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
So she kept constantly pushing it back, pushing it back, pushing it back. And then she went, you know what, I need to tackle this. The minute she said that, the right tutor came along, the right situation came along, even a move, a physical, geographical move, which put her much closer to people that could assist her on that side. It was just like, once you said yes to spirit, they go, okay, here's the floodgates, go for it. Yeah. So that resonance really comes in.
And it's like we hear about, well, I was only thinking about that yesterday, or someone said this, and then it sort of, the door opens, doesn't it, to go down that avenue or to go down that road, sort of thing. And again, you progress and you learn and everything. But yeah, no, that was a great question, actually.
Yeah, thank you, Daniela. Lovely Jennifer Stevenson. The last 2 years have enabled me to move forward spiritually and meet many lovely people via Zoom. How true.
The wonderful Zoom.
And
isn't it funny how the COVID and the pandemic is a nightmare, or was a nightmare for everything, but it's sort of opened up different areas of opportunity as well to be able to connect with other people via the internet, if you want to use that, or via Zoom, or whichever way it is you work, which in a way, from a spiritual point of view, enabled us to maybe go to places across the world we'd never been, or touch people we'd never been, to be able to sort of make those friendship bonds, to make those development groups, circles, whatever you want to call, but to be able to maybe just help people where we were a little bit restricted by our views that we can only do something face to face, or within a church or within a centre. We can now go a bit further out with the technology that, if you think again, Spirit is so clever how they can use technology too with us to be able to pass things on a bit further than before.
Indeed. And it changed our previous misconceptions of the ability of spirits. We were cloaked in some misunderstandings. I would cite something like the act of healing. It's got to be done total silence. Anybody talks, we're going to take you out and burn you. How dare you talk when we're healing? But actually, what is absent healing? Is everybody sat in silence for that? Our evidential mediumship, working on Zoom and other platforms, we're connecting with people across the world. And actually, from my own personal point of view, I found my online mediumship quite interesting because the depth of evidence is something I rarely get on platform, because I'm sat here comfortably.
Yeah, it's more relaxed.
I'm chilled. I don't have to rush anywhere. I've probably got my trackies on and my slippers. I look smart up here. Don't look at the rest. Don't ask me to stand up. So I'm really chilled in that zone, and I just think, wow. How clever are you? How clever are you?
It's like, there's many people out there that want to learn and develop, and they can't go to a church, or they can't drive, or whatever it is, or the people that can't get to somewhere to see a medium for a reading, whereas before they maybe had to struggle to get there, or free buses, whatever it might be. But now, as you say, with the technology, we're able to bring that comfort to them, or that evidence, or that healing, whichever way it is we work, to be able to touch that much more people. So I think Spirit are getting the word out a little bit more by using the wonders we've got of technology now.
Yeah. I know the lovely Neil Payne, who's in the room tonight. He came online fairly quickly as things happened.
Yeah.
and he's had no end of wonderful guests with him. Lovely lady always sings, Shaz, I believe her name.
Okay, yeah.
But he's brought that link to spirit into people's homes, especially at the time we were so fearful of going outside the front door.
Yeah, so it's spreading the word again, and it's making it more accessible to people, isn't it?
Definitely.
Because it should be accessible to anyone, really.
Oh, gosh, yes. Lovely Phil Shaw. Good evening, Phil. My job as a teacher is to empower students to become the best mediums they can be by increasing confidence levels, self-awareness, and also nurturing, shaping their spiritual fertility and USP, unique selling point, which I also teach my acting students.
Ah, you do acting as well, then?
He does. He was an actor.
Oh, are you a good actor? Is he a good actor?
He's a very good actor.
Oh, that's good then.
He said I was good once when he saw me working. That was marvellous acting because he didn't grin, laugh, or anything.
Okay, fair enough. He must be good then. But yeah, great. Yeah, great.
Yeah.
You know, you do have to empower your students, didn't you? And I think the thing is, because we've started maybe where they were, we see where they are, we know where they are, and it's about that encouragement, and it's empowering them, isn't it? It's about trying to get that encouragement for them to go forward and just take that little bit of a step forward where they need that courage to do it. And it's learning that how we can do that and taking our own experience of that to try to just get them to go forward and just have that courage and trust the spirit to do that and themselves. And when it happens again, it's just like how proud we are that they've done that sort of thing.
Yeah.
How proud they should be of themselves as well.
And it is wonderful, you know, if we're 100% honest, not everybody who attends every course may be going on the path that the course is designed for.
Oh, no, yeah.
They are mediums.
Yeah.
As I always say, everybody is a medium. What your mediumship may unfold as is a healing medium,
could be anything.
Evidential medium, philosophical medium, whatever.
Yeah.
But sometimes, because evidential mediumship has been the jewel in the crown of all times, and sadly sort of like overshadowed some of the other facets of so many abilities that we have. When you see somebody on the right, in your understanding as a spiritualist teacher, the right person on the right path for what is going to make them sing. That's that added benefit as well. When you really see it and think, do you know what? There is potential. That's my favourite word. Is finding that right word to say without swamping them or without denying people. It's just that there's great potential there.
And it's lovely to see it.
Oh, hugely. Massive.
And
when you see people, when you just go, oh.
And it's like when you think back to the time where you sort of got that moment, and it's like, I know what you're feeling. And you're sort of celebrating it for them.
Yeah. The Risha woman won't leave us alone. I don't know what's the matter with her. She obviously nobody booked her tonight. Oh God, I'm going to suffer for that comment.
She could do some cooking or baking or so. She likes baking, doesn't she? She makes good cakes.
Yeah, they are.
She does good cakes.
Nice cakes. There you go. Her phone's going to ring in a minute. I do believe the right people come in our lives when the time is right for ourselves.
Okay.
Interesting. Is it the right people come into our lives, or do we recognise what we've been looking for?
It's a different spin on the question then, really, isn't it?
I know, we like a spin.
It's a totally different spin on that.
Yeah.
I think it's probably our energy resonates a frequency. I'm not big into sort of frequencies and stuff, but our energy, I think, resonates at a different level throughout our life, and it's the vibration of that attracts.
Yeah, law of attraction.
Because we're all energy, aren't we? At the end of the day, so I think it's our energy that attracts the energy at the time.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. I don't know what yours is.
That's fine. You are allowed an opinion.
Well, you told me I wasn't earlier, so that's fine. But yeah, so that's my opinion of it, and I think we get from that whatever our energy is at that level at the time.
I think sometimes a combination of things. I think the spin theory has a bearing there. That if we accept, we are looking for somebody to share our lives with,
Mm.
or we are looking for somebody who I can talk to on my
Yeah.
soul level.
Yeah.
Yes, there is the law of attraction.
Mm.
We've shifted our energy
Yeah.
to vibrate at that pitch, which will then
Yeah.
send out the message to the universe. But also then our mindset is open to that. Whereas we may have met a few people who could have stepped into that role, but for us at that time,
you weren't in the right place.
Yeah. It's sort of like, you know what, the thought of sharing my life with somebody is abhorrent. You know, I can get up in the morning, walk around in my pants, and I'm quite happy.
I don't think anyone really needed that on a Saturday night as a sort of before their tea or just after their tea. Imagine that you walk around in your pants.
You should be more worried. You're staying here tonight.
Well, that's true.
That, folks.
Please don't walk around in your pants.
I promise. However, moving on. You know, you may be in that stage of your life where actually I'm quite happy on my own.
Yeah.
But then you shift that energy and you just think, you know what? You know, somebody else in my life now probably, would work.
Yeah.
So we've opened up our consciousness to that thought. Whereas we might have been surrounded by people who actually adore you.
Mm.
I'm certainly not speaking from personal experience here, hi everybody. But people actually adore you, but because you haven't been there as a spirit, as a soul, or whatever, it's just gone by. It's gone by the by.
Yeah, that's another way of looking at it and thinking about it.
Yeah. Sue Townsend. Hello, Sue. Do you notice there is a different response in spiritualist churches reusing psychic abilities? And what are your thoughts about where some psychics also use oracle cards, etc.? Often this is a big no. Have you found that churches expect mediumship communication with disincarnate spirit, even though psychic may be part of the reading? Do you feel this will change? God, there's a lot in there.
There is a big old question.
There is, right. We're on there tonight until midnight, folks. Get yourself comfy. Where do you want to go with that?
I'm just reading it again. Do you notice there's a response to spiritual churches? I mean, I think for me personally, I can only talk about me personally. To me, the psychic side has always been a no-no when you're working. For me, when you're working, doing the mediumship side of it, if you're in a church, because a lot of churches, it's provided the evidence of life after death for me. Okay, that's what. So for me, it was always you can't do the psychic thing, but I believe as well we always have an element of psychic when we're working anyway. I just feel sometimes we may drop into that level or something when we're doing that, but it's just. I think again, it's where we need to change with the times, because personally, you know, not everyone wants to see an evidential medium about someone that's passed. They want a bit more guidance about their life. Right. So that's where you go into the psychic. So I think there's a place for both of them, personally for me. But it's choice, isn't it, at the end of the day? And I think it just comes back to re-education and maybe re-understanding the benefit of each way of working.
Indeed, I agree with that totally. Churches and centres, evidential mediumships, their job is to simply, he says, provide the evidence of the continuity of life. Unfortunately, where over the years, where different practices come in, people have seen probably very accomplished psychic demonstrations and taken that as mediumship. You know, I'll quote the line I was talking about the other day with Bill. Got your mother here, and then go on to give a very accomplished psychic reading. That person goes out and goes, wow, that person was brilliant. They had my mum through and they told me all this stuff. Well, no, actually, you've got two things going on here. There was no evidence of survival. You know, or the only thing that was said was, I've got your mother here. There was no substantiating evidence to support that. But the psychic reading actually was of a very good standard. So I think the thing, Sue, is the honesty. If you are going to put a psychic on or have a psychic there to do readings, you advertise it as that. If you're going to have an evidential medium to work on the platform or to give private readings, you advertise it as that. And you said a nice little word there, the re-education. And that is a cause very close to my heart about using this terminology. You know, our healing mediums, our evidential mediums. Because for too long it's just been kicked into the backwater and people are confused. Because they've never had it explained. They've never had these things highlighted.
Again, I think it's just one of the things. It's a personal responsibility, isn't it, to a degree? To if you're doing psychic, then and that's what someone wants, then you're fulfilling the need for the person. And the same as if people want the evidential mediumship, you're doing the same thing. So it's about what the person needs or feels they need.
Yeah.
Because I say, not everyone wants to talk to someone that's passed over.
Indeed.
They want to know more about themselves or life or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
And that, but yeah, no, I agree with what you're saying about, you know, the re-education side of it. And I think in the day and age we're in now, we have to, and this might be a bit politically incorrect, or maybe, you know, some people disagree, but I think we've got to work in many different ways because there's many, many different people in this world now who you know, are needing help in one way or another. And I think as a medium, and I'll put it in brackets, we need to provide that service in the way that is the best served for that person.
Yeah, very true. Well, it's not often said. People put an awful lot of energy into what I'm about to say. It's not often said. But the word church can be a bit of a barrier to some people, which is absolutely fine. You know. The word centre can also be a bit ambiguous. You know, am I going to play badminton, or am I going to have a reading, or you know, is it cray shower? I don't know, because we're going to a centre.
Yeah.
So where spirit work, we look at it. You know, I run a church, so this is the home of spirit. That's me. But in the same energy, I also say, do you know what? Spirit will work with the person sat next to you on the bus. I wasn't going to share this publicly.
No, come on, I'm going to get comfortable for this one then.
The other day after a service here, I went to the bus station, did something, came back, and there was this wonderful little old man. And when I say a little old man, I mean he was a little old man. He was lovely. And he stumbled a bit.
Oh, bless.
Oh, you're all right. He said, oh, no, that's fine. He said, that's fine. I'm all right. And he sat down and he just continued talking to me. And I thought, no, fair enough. Yeah, well, I'm up for a gas. Great.
Yeah.
And I noticed he had the most beautiful fob chain.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I went, that is beautiful. I said, have you got the watch on the end? And he showed it to me and it was quality. And I went, I'm not being funny.
Yeah.
And I said, do your coat up,
my
friend, because there are people here that will want that and won't think twice about taking it. He went, no, it's all right, spirit always look after me. And I was like,
wow, yeah.
Hang on a minute.
Yeah. What's going on?
Okay. And this guy just spoke to me and he gave me a wonderful spiritual assessment about what the work you're doing and things to be. And I just sat there absolutely dumbfounded. But it was so natural. It was such a natural conversation. And then we finished and I walked away and I'm thinking, what the hell just happened there?
But you obviously needed that. For whatever reason, you needed that connection, that experience, and obviously whatever.
That is that expression of spirit. Taking the opportunity.
Yeah, we put it under obviously when we think of spiritualism, we put it under a church as or centre heading. But really,
it's a bench in the bus station.
You know, my grandma. We had this conversation earlier. My grandma, I call her a kitchen medium, and that's not being disrespectful to mediums who work at home in kitchens. But she was like the old school of, you know, working that way, and the neighbour would come around, she'd sit down, have a cuppa, and just you do a bit of mediumship and stuff. And it's so natural to do that process. I think sometimes what we do is we tend to restrict ourselves by we can't do that because of this, or we can't do that because of that. But my belief is that the spirit world just want us to be relaxed, and they will come and do what they need to do at any particular moment in time to help someone that needs it.
Indeed.
Whether it be in Tesco's or Lidl's or wherever it might be. And there are other, obviously, supermarkets available should you wish to choose them.
And bus stations.
And bus stations,
I recommend bus stations. You have fabulous reading while you're waiting for the number 24.
Right, fabulous.
But yeah, everyday mediumship.
Yeah.
Because as evidential mediums, we are always we had that little discussion about it. When you get the name, it's like, yes, we do the dance. But the evidential mediums is just everyday mediumship. And it's that communication with the spirit world that actually doesn't need anybody's validation. You know, you could have an instance during healing, a lady's mother stepped forward and said she's lonely. That was it. That's all she said. I've got two ways of handling that. I could say, your mother's here and she's saying you're lonely, which is just feeding my validation, my need for validation. But actually, what happened then was during the afterwards, we were talking. I said, "Oh, you getting out much? You've got, you know, friends and all that?" "No, not really." And I said, "Oh, well, at that time we were running a friendship group. Why don't you come to that? You know, and you meet people." And she did, and she struck up friendships. It's that everyday mediumship. It doesn't need spirit have told me, you know. Spirit telling you for a reason. Spirit giving you an opportunity. And it doesn't need accolade. It doesn't need acknowledgement. It doesn't need validation. It's just sort of like giving you that gentle nudge saying, you can help this person. Talk to that person. You know, how many times have we sat there thinking, I really should phone up so-and-so.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, thank God you phoned up. You know, I'm having a terrible time. Where do you think that inspiration? You know, you don't say, well, I knew because Spirit told me. You know, you just go, you do what is natural in you. So, yeah, everyday mediumship to me is probably where Spirit would like us to be.
Yeah, I think I would probably agree with you on that. Yeah, definitely.
Do away with all the platforms and everything.
Well, I wouldn't go that far because I'd be out of a job as well. But you know what I mean.
Well, you can fall back on your office job.
Thanks.
That's fine. And I can fall back to not a lot. Oh dear. But yeah, that is where Spirit wants to be. Anyway, hello everybody. Daniela, you may as well come in the room, love, because you're putting so much in tonight.
Is she on all the time then, this lovely lady?
Well, no, she made the mistake of watching a programme the other week, which was about NDEs, and she had an NDE experience. And then 3 minutes later, she was actually part of the show. So,
fair enough.
Yeah. I'm very pleased we are to meet her. Energy-wise, we discovered that Zoom is not causing energy to weaken. Messages and energy still flow beautifully. All against what many thought initially. How true? How true?
I think it comes back to that, how we're told that, you know, it's got to be like that face-to-face connection or that sort of thing, you know, and it's trying to change that mindset sort of thing about it. And yeah, I agree totally, you know, on Zoom or Team or even on the phone, whatever way you want to work, it's that energy connection, isn't it? And I personally think, for me, I'm better on phone than I am Zoom sort of thing, because I think I'm more relaxed by doing it that way. That's what you said earlier. You know, you could sit here and your slippers or whatever, and it's yeah. I mean, I think Spirit are so much more intelligent than we ever probably give them credit for. They can work through different ways of working. Different mediums. I was going to say that, but I thought that might be a bit corny. But different mediums, and yeah, I would agree there with that statement about, you know, it being as good, if not better at times.
And healing.
Yeah.
Healing has been fascinating online.
Yeah.
I was part of a healing circle, and our guest who we were giving healing to, I actually saw that this person had 2 stents.
Oh, wow.
And I could see it.
Yeah.
And I was like, blimey. I don't get that into my head. It's like, wow, that is awesome.
Probably because we're more relaxed as well, I think, when we're online.
We haven't have to rush about.
This was what we said earlier. You don't have to rush to get to wherever it is, and you just, I think your energy is a bit more relaxed at that point, maybe.
And we haven't got the congregation girding at us.
No, that's true.
The mediums in the room will understand what I mean by that. that, because if you stand on platforms sometimes and you see people pulling these very strange faces at you, it can be very distracting. You're like,
no comment because I'm working here tomorrow.
are you right, love? Anne-Marie Bond, there we go. As I said, beautiful teacher. Many trainee mediums or new working mediums have had little circle development. I feel struggling knowing the difference between psychic mediumship and mental mediumship. A lot of people step up on the platform not having learned the basics, some not at all.
Yeah, foundations, which is what we're doing in this course this week, isn't it? About what we've been doing over the next few months. But yeah, in fact, I started off in a circle. You know, I just went to a church circle, and I started that way, learning the foundations and the basics, because you've got to know them.
Yeah.
Because it's like a house. If you build a house, you put no foundations down. At some stage, it might stand all right for a little while, but at some stage, you're going to get cracks and everything like that, and then it's going to collapse. So foundations is something that I personally am big on teaching, because it sets a precedence for everything.
It does. Yeah.
Totally.
It's absolutely fundamental.
Yeah.
And I said, when this course was being advertised, I said, this is a foundation level course.
Yeah.
You know, if you're thinking of going on to mediumship, actually, I advise you do this course. And there's 2 people who are on that route, so that you understand what the psychic is, you're aware of the psychic, and then you will also know, come that time where the potential is there with both of them to become platform mediums, know exactly where they are working.
But it's a good question, because I've come across it, as I'm sure you have, where people, they just, you talk to them and they are working on platform, whatever, and then they just don't understand the basics or the foundation. And it's like, well, how can you not know it? It's a simple thing, whether that's right or wrong to say that. But starting at the circle level, I think, gives you the good foundation. You don't have to do a circle maybe in the traditional way, but certainly learning and developing and go to where you feel you need to go to get that foundation. It's the principle in my book of everything we do.
Hugely. And again, where we're in this energy now where things are changing, I was saying about spiritual assessments, which are going to be invaluable to a lot of people, as is one-to-one mentorship.
I like that, one-to-one mentorship. With the academy that I've got, people could do online, again, it's all online sort of thing, you know, and we have people in different parts of the world or whatever, or country. And the one-to-one mentorship I like, because again, you're getting that time, and it's about the energy, and it's about the learning process, because we sort of said earlier about, you know, whatever knowledge we know is not just ours, it's about sharing that knowledge out and stuff like that, and learning from the experiences and things. So I think mentorship, obviously, I presume you do that with healing, do you as well? Yeah. So it's enabling you to maybe reach people you couldn't do before, sort of thing.
Yeah, it's true. And it's wonderful. It's a wonderful, you know, I started doing it, I'm not sure about this at all. Yeah. But actually, after the first one, I was hooked. I went, you know what, I can really see the value in this.
And we learn as we go along from it as well, don't we? You know, I believe as a tutor, you learn from the student.
Yeah.
So we're learning, we can do this. So it's trying to readjust our way of thinking as well, maybe re-educating us as people as well. We can work different ways.
Every day you learn something.
Yeah.
Every day you learn something. Thank you, lovely Anne-Marie. Let's get that way. Reminder about something. Oh, there we go. Anne-Marie, I run private mentorships. It is so satisfying helping people one by one or small groups. So I agree. Thank you, dear. It is. It's the way we set about our opportunities for development. I'm choosing my words because I don't want to say training, you know, it sounds like Pavlov's dog at the end of the day. It's getting that unfoldment process going. We are seeing, sadly, at times, either online or within our physical churches and centres, the results of potentially an over-ambitious sitter or an over-ambitious circle leader. I've seen people pushed onto platform and I've just said they're not ready. And I'm not saying that as any nasty element. They're just simply not ready. So yeah, and I think what we're here at Paul going forward with our circles, these are going to be run in courses, so like 6 or 8 weeks at a time, with a program as well of what each week is going to be doing, where we're going with it. I find that really interesting way, because I've seen circles sometimes run out of steam. It becomes another lovely evening.
I know what you mean.
If you are willing to invest in your unfoldment, then churches and centres have got to match that. And present.
I agree 100%.
Well, this is a program. This will run for 8 weeks. It will be on such and such day. It will run for 2 hours. In week 1, we are going to cover this. Week 2, we're going to cover this. Week 3, we're going to cover this. We're going to run that course of circle work. There will be other circles coming along of varying levels. Then we're kicking off in July with an absolute beginners progression group, which is 8 weeks long. Each week is mapped out and what we're covering, and I feel that is a much more structured way to develop. But that's only my opinion.
I think I agree with you on that, especially obviously since I've started the academy, because people know what they're doing then, and you're setting them homework or coursework, whatever it is you put in that structured way of working. And as I think as a tutor, you're more focused rather than thinking, oh, I'm going to do this week or whatever, or make that decision an hour before or whatever it might be. I think if it's a bit more structured, it's giving the students confident as well. I think in the church, but also the tutor as well, sort of thing.
Yeah, and the tutors that I've been asking to set these up have loved it. They've loved sending in their proposals and saying this, because we're already making that investment.
But as we said earlier, and you're not going to like me saying this, but you sort of set a precedent a bit of what you're doing at Paul. No, I know you don't like me saying it, but I think it's not just me. I think other people that sort of would agree with that, and it's like stepping and raising the bar a bit, isn't it? And stuff. And I think that's probably happening here by the people that you're getting in, and also the way that they are being structured things. So people are knowing what they're getting prior to doing it, sort of thing.
One of the phrases often used, and this isn't just me being pedantic about words, not being nasty or rude. When you hear people say, "Oh yes, we do say, oh, we have a lovely afternoon," I think, well, that's nice. I can have a lovely afternoon down Wetherspoons, quite frankly. If I'm talking about my spiritual unfoldment, I want to come out going, "Oh God, and I've got homework, what the hell?" But that is the investment that we're making, because the effort you put in is what you get out.
And I think it cuts people who are not serious about it. I think it's gonna, it gets rid of those people, if you like. It sorts the people out who are really dedicated, and those that think, I'll go circle once, I'll go twice, whatever, sort of thing. So you're finding people who maybe want to do it, who are then going to go on to be the ambassadors for spirit in whichever direction that is there. So they're putting the time into it for not only themselves but to help other people.
Yeah, very good, very good, very good. That's an interesting one. Right, Phil Shaw. We're talking about people on the platform who may be a little bit too soon. Why are they even invited to work on platform without the necessary training? And as a side note, I'm also starting mentorship this year. That's brilliant, Phil, because this mentorship thing is it's in the air, it's in the ether. It's not my idea, it's not Darren's idea. It's just there, Spirit Cult. Try this. Yeah. What's your thoughts on the first part?
Well, I remember this is only, again, my experience of my circle leader at the time wanted me to do platform. I didn't feel I was ready to do it, so I didn't do it. But I think sometimes there's pressure put on the student that, oh, you can do it, you can do it, you can do it, you can do it. Go out there, do it. And hopefully they're going to do absolutely right, amazing. If it's the right sort of time for them, and they're going to come off doing a good job. but also I think it can break them sometimes as well.
Yeah,
I've seen it.
that.
You know, we're in circle that they do brilliantly, but as soon as you put them on the platform and they're not ready, it knocks them and they don't want to do it again. So it frightens them off. So, you know, I think sometimes it comes to ego, maybe putting someone up there too soon or something like that. And I just think that we as the student, we do need the encouragement to do it, but we've also got to be at the right place to want to do it.
Yeah.
You can't, I don't think you can force someone to do it, because it could have the adverse sort of reaction to what they're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, true. There's other levels on that. If you say, just for an example, you ran a evidential mediumship development circle 3 nights a week, and you had 12 attendees for each night. So each week you've got 36 people going through your hands with the potential, big word, potential for platform work.
Yeah.
They're not all going to be platform mediums.
Oh no, they're not. No,
they're not all going to be platform mediums. You know, we still have this glory symbol of platform medium, and I know the mediums in the room tonight will agree with this. And if you don't, you're barred. No, I don't mean that. I love you. You know, you get home from work and you have the worst day at work, and it's November, so it's soul destroying. It's miserable. You come in and you've got to then go through the process of bolt your dinner down, but don't eat too much because you're going to be working. Get washed, get dressed, drive somewhere. Probably be ignored when you get there, you know, or get a very lackadaisical sort of welcome. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we all have, mate. We all have. And you get up there and you do the. Where is the enticement in there? You know, sometimes you just think, why the hell am I doing this? Because you do. It's your passion. But that's not explained to people in circle.
Not really.
They just think, you know, this is going to be I'm going to float into the church and everyone's going to be wonderful to me, and I'm going to get up there and have a beautiful time, and then the real lessons
work that way at times.
Exactly.
Sometimes it does, which is lovely what it does, but most of the time it's not.
The real lessons start. You know, where have they been taught what to do if you stand up there, as we both endured, and nothing happens?
That's right, we talked about that earlier, weren't we?
Exactly. Yeah. Are you taught that in your circle?
Yeah.
Very rarely.
That's right.
Very rarely. So, yeah, in circles, there is this thing about the glory of being an evidential medium, and it's really not. Mark Stone the other week said something really, really interesting. He said when he was 32, because he was an evidential medium working on platforms from the age of 18. When he was 32, he turned around and he went, "What happened to my 20s? I didn't have them because I was working. And when I wasn't working at my job, which paid my income, I was out serving churches. Yeah. So I spent my 20s not being me. You know, and when do we say that to people in circle?
It's like you said, I think people think, I'm going to be a platform medium and you know, but it's what happens behind the scenes. It's the time to get, you know, even ready, change, drive there, bus, whatever it is you're doing, and the time to get home. So it's you know, it's lovely when you're on platform, you make that connection to someone and you deliver the evidence, the message, the love, you get that healing to that person or whichever it is you do. But you know, as you say, it doesn't always go that way, and sometimes it is hard work. Yeah. But you know, you just have to keep going, I suppose, didn't you, as well?
Indeed. Oh yeah, definitely. You know, definitely. But the other side as well, I'd like to bring in with that from a church's point of view. Sometimes, you know, if you say you were running a church or a centre and you had, just say 2 demonstrations of mediumship a week. At the end of the year, you need 100 mediums. Yeah,
that's true. Yeah.
You know, that's an incredible pressure because many areas we can't afford to get people in from outside of the, especially at the moment. So you're reliant upon a very small pool of mediums. And in most cases, not only are you reliant on that pool of mediums, so are 1 or 2 other places. Yeah. So everybody starts getting that fidgety because we're seeing the same faces week in, week out and all this. So they're creating this vacuum where people who aren't quite ready, oh yeah, you've been sat in circle, I've seen you work, you're great, you'll do it next Sunday.
Yeah.
Because that void has been, that vacuum has been created by working with a very finite source of mediums of a standard. So Phil, why are people being invited onto the platform? Because if you look at a year's program for any church or centre and then multiply that into the number of mediums you work in, that's why people are being invited up that may not quite be ready, because that vacuum is there. And how churches and centres handle that is down to them.
I mean, for me, I do a lot of teaching online now, but because I've moved and whatever, but I used to at one time, only when I had like the physically doing the circle thing, and I had the people coming into the property or where I was working to do the circle, you would get a feeling of those that were ready, and then you would take them out with you to do a demonstration, or just to get the feel of the energy, or do a bit of sharing, or whatever it is that they might do, so they start to get used to the energy of the church or the centre, and try and make a connection. And then you're there supplying the power, the energy to them, helping them, coaxing them along, just trying to give them that encouragement. And I personally, when I look at what's on at churches, I don't really see that anymore. Where someone, I mean, I'm sure it does happen somewhere, but I'm probably just not looking in the right place. But I think as a tutor, if you feel someone's ready, it's about taking them up and working with them and helping them and supporting them, not just saying, right, okay, you're ready, get up there and do it. So, I think it comes back to responsibility again, which is what happened with me with my tutor. She went with me to work and stuff. So
I was extremely happy pre-2020. There were two ladies who were on that hinterland, sat in circle for a long time, really getting their craft under their belt and excelling at it, but too scared to go and do a whole service, which is absolutely fine. I remember my first service, it was a disaster, but never mind. Something must have gone right. But anyway, and I offered them, they came out with me. And we've got a lady now at Paul Church who her unfoldment was disrupted by COVID era and by a physical move.
Oh, okay.
And if I get who I know is a teaching medium coming to serve the church, I will ask them if they would mind sitting up with them.
Good idea,
to get that opportunity.
Yeah, definitely.
Because, we've got to backfill, because we don't backfill in 10 years' time, we're going to have bugger all. Simple as that.
Yeah.
We've got to encourage, but we've got to encourage commiserate with their understandings and their abilities, and not drag people up there. We had one lady here many years ago, and she was a beautiful medium. Unfortunately, every time she got on the platform, she threw up because of the nerves.
So, nerves is the worst thing.
That didn't last very long. But, again, it was a case of going up there far too soon. They're coming in thick and fast tonight, Darren. You're very engaging with our viewers, which is wonderful. You haven't got any rush anywhere, have you?
Clearly not, no.
Yeah, well, we haven't.
We haven't. We're here. We're in your lovely place. Working till tomorrow. Oh, we could do. That's true.
Alison Jane, interesting. Thank you, my darling. Thank you for joining us. Will there ever be a space for teaching, mentoring children? How interesting.
Now, my thing goes with that is children are very, very susceptible to spirit, if you like. I suppose if I look at it from the I'm not really sure point of view, I probably wouldn't be happy in tutoring a child from the point of how that leaves you open to problems from a tutoring point of view. So it comes back to, if you're going to tutor a child, you need someone who's a responsible adult who goes with the child to do that. So I think for me, that would be my issue with it. But I do feel that, children are susceptible to it, and they should in one way be encouraged to do it. I mean, my own children think I'm a very strange man and very strange father, and they don't want to know about it, but that's fine. But had they wanted to, I would have taken that on to sort of develop them. But I think for me personally, I would have to look at, well, not happy because of what that could lead to or be open to.
Yeah,
Sort of thing.
I agree. I remember a case of a young child and the driving force was not the child.
Okay.
Put it that way.
Yeah.
And I used to feel sorry for the poor little Mike.
Yeah.
Because he just wanted to go and play, which is absolutely fine. But no, other people
wanted the child to do what
are going to be this, you know. I would ask then, Alice and Jane, will there ever be a space for teaching, mentoring children? You don't say in what. I think with a young mind, just that spirituality, the broader basis of spirituality, and include that, not make it the sole focus, but include that in their life lessons about. And I think we do have the ideal opportunity again at this time when we start talking about the environment and the issues with the environment, which is being taught to children. So one step beyond the environmental issues is saying about, well, you know, remember that the earth is a living biosphere. Everything is interrelated. So you can start bringing in those slight spiritual nuggets into that sort of teaching.
And maybe the child isn't ready to develop yet in that sense. You know, I think we get to that point where you're either going to want to or you don't want to, but something may happen in our life to make us want to do it. And as you say, maybe the child's forced to it. Maybe if we're talking about developing for mediumship or whatever, maybe it's going a little bit against what they want to do, so they're not going to be committed to it or really want to do it. It's a personal choice, isn't it? I think at the end of the day. I mean, that's my take. Whether Alison agrees with that or not, it's slightly different.
Everybody's entitled to their personal take. You know, we can debate all night. But I think with children, just opening their eyes to a greater understanding, as I say, with spirituality, and especially with the environment, we can start bringing in maybe even sort of slight shamanic ways about respect of the earth and getting that understanding and opening up a youngster's mind to other possibilities for them to do what they wish to do.
Their choice.
What them to wish to, what they want to.
Maybe it's about teaching them I'm not saying the children are not kind, but maybe it's us trying to look at maybe installing a bit more kindness into the way we are as people, and maybe trying to bring the child into sort of that frame of mind if need be. Because don't get children learn from parents, don't they? And stuff. So maybe we just need to look at the whole thing, maybe.
But I think we can introduce a spirituality.
Oh, definitely. At an early stage.
Why do I have to be kind to people? Because we are all the same. There is no difference. It doesn't matter what colour, what creed, what religion, what sex. It doesn't matter. We're all the. So you can start to bring in that spirituality into children's awareness, and then give them as much as possible in that without focusing it, and letting them find their journey, letting them. So here we go. Who trains the trainer? Pearl, lovely Pearl Montgomery.
Ah, the lovely Pearl from today.
Yes, lovely Pearl. Pearl the healer.
Lovely Pearl, the healer. Yes.
Who trains the trainer? Some circles have no structure and don't cater for new people or give guidelines. So surely the mediums who are attempting platforms should be commended for getting as far as they have without real direction. Sorry if this ruffles feathers.
Not at all.
Pearl is a debate. And that's the trouble with the world at the moment. We've forgotten how to debate. We have to stand on our little molehills shouting out, I'm right and everybody else is wrong. I have noticed since lockdown this is changing and some semblance of structure is appearing in some churches. However, in circle, the psychic is still not welcome. Maybe psychic circles should be run and then you move up to a medium. Interesting, yeah?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, some good point. You've not ruffled feathers at all, my darling. There are some very good points in there. The as I said, I like what you're saying there. Surely the mediums who are attempting platforms should be commended for getting as far as they have without real direction. There are elements of mediums out there who fall very much into that criteria. There are also people out there who have the soul energy, and soul is egotistical because I want my 15 minutes of fame. There's many reasons. So we can't generalize people coming onto platform too soon, because there's a variety, as we've discussed, of reasons why they get up there. But yeah, it's this time it's a very good lesson to the churches and centres to actually sort of like start saying, you know what, we really need to approach our training in a different way, our unfoldment in a different way, and this structured way, because everybody's thinking about it, and energy follows thought. So the minute you start thinking about setting these things up, the energy is there, and the energy will support that further growth. You know, so yeah, lovely, Pearl. Don't bother coming back next week.
Yeah.
Neil Payne. You didn't mean that, Pearl.
Yeah, well, she's a lovely lady.
She is awesome. Good healer. Anyway, there should also be teaching about the history of spiritualism, as some people work out there have no idea how the movement started. Agree with you, Neil. Yeah.
Just at Hydesville, haven't we?
Yeah, just at Hydesville Day.
Yeah.
But yes, certainly the history of spiritualism. The other energy with that, with the history of spiritualism, is letting people who are working their way to become platform workers of the future to know whose shoulders they're standing on.
Well, we were talking earlier about some of the...
We were talking a lot earlier. How long were we here?
We were talking earlier about like some of the pioneers, if you want to call it that, or some of the mediums that we sort of we know or we like, sort of thing, and you know how they used to work, and their philosophies, you know, their evidence, the way they work, and it's like looking at those as well, and just sort of great respect to them and trying to learn from those people. Yeah,
I agree. And it teaches so many levels.
Yeah.
I was talking about the social side. If you go onto YouTube, you can watch Gordon Higginson work.
Oh, marvellous. Yeah, fantastic.
Marvellous to watch Gordon Higginson work.
Yeah.
If you go and look at it, have a look at the way the congregation react to his evidence, because it's totally different to what we would see today.
But is that because it's more on TV nowadays?
Our social world has changed.
Yeah.
And spirit changed with that.
So, but if we're talking about Gordon Higginson, in his day, it was more, you know, it wasn't as widespread as it is now. And I think it was more specific maybe from that point of view, because people were going there and the energy was different, and they weren't necessarily going there with maybe expectations we get nowadays from the social point of view. And I just think that what he did, and I'm only talking about him, obviously, from what we discussed and what I've seen, but that to me was phenomenal, what he used to do. And as you say, the congregation sort of reaction to it as well. Whereas now sometimes, you know,
Yeah. Because unfortunately, this when this word entertainment came into the phrase, should we say, you know, it is a night out sometimes, and sometimes people expect mirth and laughter all the way through, and maybe that's not the way you work. You know, we all have our own unique styles of working. Generally, there is an element of humour, but the whole evening is not about being humorous.
No.
The whole evening is about proving the continuity and the survival after what we call death. So yeah, Neil, definitely. Because understanding the history, and not only the great evidential mediums, if you go further back into our history, the social reforms that were brought about by spiritualists.
Yeah, that's true,
Because in and through that knowledge of working with the spirit, that they actually looked at societal changes that required to be done, and said, you know what, this is, from what I know and understand by working with the spirit world, this is not to be encouraged. There were great reforms made in capital punishment.
Right.
And if you go back to Spirit Teachings by Stanton Moses, he covers part of his opinion of capital punishment. We're talking the death penalty. Is say, you are casting into the spirit world uneducated spirits. They don't talk about evil spirits. It's uneducated. Whereas actually in your side of life, you should be working to reform these characters to bring in.
If you think about it like that, that way.
If you take somebody who's uneducated here and you cast them straight into the spirit world will go, oh God, not again. Literally like that. So really interesting. But because of those mediums and those authors at the time, we saw great reform coming into the country. And a lot of it was down to the influence, the direct and acknowledged influence of spirit. Yeah,
definitely.
So,
good question.
Lovely Libby. Libby is making a comment there. I've seen several evidential mediums recently who have been in dire need of mentorship.
Is that Libby from...
Yes, that is Libby. Yes.
Ah, lovely Libby.
Lovely Libby.
Yeah.
So, yes. Jan Denham from wonderful Brixton. The students need to practice, and where better than the lovely little established churches allowing them in. I agree, Jan, and we've got to review our structure of how we allow people to practice. I think we need more dedication with it. I think we need more of our platform mediums to step up and go to where we see fledgling nights. And see some people working and just think, you know what, that person shows great promise. Darren and I could go to a night tonight of evidential mediumship practice night. Go away wherever you are, pack it in, it's not funny.
You're seeing something going up, get worried now.
I don't want to open that door. You can open that door. You and I could go and see 10 fledgling. Hideous term. But anyway,
fledgling.
Wild.
Yeah.
And you may see one and go, do you know what? I see something there. And I would see similar but in somebody else.
Yeah.
But I think our evidential mediums want to consider this as part of other people's development.
But then if they're coming through the system which I did, which was in a church, sitting in circle, then they should be getting the right foundations to get to that point that they can go to other churches and know what's what.
Yeah.
And do what they want. I agree with what you're saying. Yeah. But it's again coming back to that education, isn't it? Sort of thing.
And it is breaking through that barrier, because getting up on platform to do the job with the sincerest of conviction. So I'm not talking about flying up there going, look at me, I'm a medium. Knowing what you're doing is just so daunting at the beginning. And if you've got the support of an established medium to lift you up, to get you up there, and also afterwards, which is really important, to say that was beautiful. Maybe we need to work on this, or next time I would like you to work with a philosophy and just keep that progression going.
Trying all different aspects.
So everybody, we've gone on again. I do apologise. You can't tell I live on my own. Stephen Mager, president of Chichester Church, and wonderful medium, wonderful evidential medium, and a wonderful healing medium too. I think I was blessed to have been invited on platforms locally, recommended by my circle leader after doing platform practice for 3 to 4 years, and was reluctant at first, so I worked on my philosophy as a primary focus. It deepened everything for me. I can't speak for everyone at all. Had I not got momentum before COVID, I'd have been thrown a little. So I'm as kind as I can be to people who want some experience, and when I can, take people on with me in my own church for that experience. Brilliant, Stephen. That's what we need. That encouragement. We need two things, and let's be brutally honest. We need discernment, and we need to encourage. And discernment comes through education.
Yeah, which is what we keep on talking about, isn't it? About education, because again, it's the foundation level. It's understanding it and everything. So I think that's where we've got to get it to, and taking students out, and as you said, whether they just do something with philosophy or mediumship, or whichever way it is that they go, it's about taking the time and investment and invest into them so that they can be investing for the future. Which it sounds like Stephen's been doing the right thing there, isn't he?
No, he's one to watch, but don't tell anyone.
Oh, is he? Oh, okay, I won't tell him that.
Lovely Mara. My son was having a strong connection spontaneously and naturally with our past relatives in spirit when he was below 7. Now his mediumship is in the background. He is having his normal life with his mates. Playing PlayStation, being 12 years old.
Yeah.
But having his sensibility is upon his soul's decision if he decides to work with that later. But curiously, his experiences at the young age threw me into a path of unfoldment and mediumship in a more concise matter. How wonderful.
So from your son has opened the doorway for her.
Yeah.
That's fabulous, isn't it? And maybe that's what he was supposed to do at the time, facilitate the opening the doorway or the awareness for her.
Yeah.
So that's good. Yeah, and he will probably come back at some stage should he choose to do that after he's got his life experiences.
Good point there about normal life with his mates. I was introduced to spiritualism at a very early age of 13. And I was sitting in circles with what we call nowadays the old school mediums, and they taught of a way that we probably have a trouble doing today. If they thought you were rubbish, they would actually tell you. If they thought you were just coming at as being silly, they would tell you. And nowadays, God forbid, if you said that to anybody, it'd be a right funeral. But I was privileged to sit for 2.5 years with this caliber of mediums. But then I went away and lived a life.
I think you have to live a life.
Yeah. Then I went away and I was no saint.
Really? Wouldn't imagine
I
that.
know.
Yeah.
I know. It's shocking, isn't it?
Age of face and all that lot, yeah.
I know. You can't believe it. You wait. The biopsy? No. Autobiography.
I was going to say, what are you
No, we won't do biopsies, mate. So imagine an autobiography. But yeah, I went away and lived a life. But do you know what? My life experience is part of who I am today.
And the thing is, I think you have to do those experiences to get to the point where you can be a better healer, medium, whichever way you want to put it to be, because that you get a better understanding of people, I think, and situations and stuff. And if you don't have that, then personally, I just don't feel you really understand it or fully understand it.
Yeah. No.
So you definitely got that. And I mean, I wasn't any saint, believe it or not, either.
No. I can't believe that, Darren. Tell me when they've gone. Anyway, everybody, thank you for joining us.
Yes, thank you.
What a beautiful evening. So many comments coming in there. Please, if we've not read out your comment, there's nothing personal. It's just the sheer volume and the flow of the energy that we've been following tonight. These evenings are really important. People here now live watching us and the dead too. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. People watching on catch up later, because this encourages debate. This stimulates thought, and that is, I think, the greatest gift of this time, that these evenings can do that. Bring people together, discuss your passions, agree or disagree. Doesn't matter,
Opinions.
It's finding out, exploring. So, thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, wonderful, wonderful, Darren. We wish you a good night.
Take care.
And have a peaceful, blessed night. Remember, those local to the area, Darren here will be our medium tomorrow, our evidential medium and philosophical medium also for our 11 a.m. service. Thank you for the beautiful comments. Have a beautiful night, everybody. God bless.